What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, let's talk Runi today, and I think we can safely say that the launch, at least the launch of the project, did not go as most of us were hoping it would. There's going to be a total of 6,500 available to mint. It's now been almost, actually a little bit more than 48 hours since the public mint went live, and we're only at 2809. And I believe we were at 2130-ish before with all the whitelist and allow spots. So it's like a little under 700 that have been minted since it went publicly live. And we've seen the floor price continue to drop. It's now at 0.21 ETH, and the best offer is sitting below the whitelist price of minting, which was 0.19 ETH. So overall, it's not, we were hoping for way more fireworks, and obviously we did not get them. Now, I still think that Runi is an interesting project. I still think that it has long-term potential because I don't think NFTs are dead by any means. And what I wanted to kind of focus on is, well, what is the floor price for this project? What is the floor price for Runi as an NFT, but then also more specifically as a card? Now, at the end of the day, if you don't care about Ethereum, you don't care about flipping NFTs, you don't care about, all the stuff that they might be doing with Runi in the future, which we will take into account to a certain extent. But if you don't care about that and you want just the one main use case that has actual playability or usability or utility, it's not even right now, unfortunately, which might have, I don't know, affected the release. Who knows? But what I'm trying to get at is that it's not playable in game yet, even though it's been public for a little while now. So it would have been nice if we had gotten that. Obviously, we didn't, but hopefully it will be playable in the game soon. But that is the one utility that you can rely on if you want to get something out of this card. So then that begs the question, okay, forget Ethereum, forget pricing in ETH. We can come back to that in a second. But what is the US dollar, right? What is the US dollar floor price for this based on how good the card is in the game? So we have the stats here, right? It's got some cool abilities. We have, it's 6 mana, 4 attack. Or actually, let's see if we can look up the abilities over here. So you got your opportunity ability, rebirth, and reflection shield, and true strike. So four different abilities to go along with the attack, mana, all the other good stuff. So 6 mana. I wanted to take a look at what cards it is actually similar to. So let's go over here to the marketplace. And there's 2 cards that I want to look very closely at. The first of which I think is priced well below, but let's go ahead and just see it anyway, is Deep Lurker. So Deep Lurker is a 6 mana opportunity card, one of my personal favorites in the game. And if you go all the way up to the highest levels, it has a different set of abilities. And it has a higher attack, faster speed. It does not have True Strike, though, although I think Poison and Demoralize make it quite valuable. I personally think that this is one of the best cards in the game and complements the water deck so well, right? It's part of the trinity that I call for the water team, which is Demon Shark, Flying Squid, and Deep Lurker. Those 3 together can do a lot of damage and win you a lot of games. So when we look at where the price is at for something like this, you can get it. We can calculate it from a BCX level, but somebody's selling it here for $83, right? $84. And if we were to, let's go ahead and bust out the calculator. If you were to, based on, the single price BCX is 25 cents times 400. So it's about $100. So we'll just say anywhere between $80 to $100 for this monster. Now, this is a common monster, but I still think that it is one of the most powerful cards in the game. And if we go back to the common cards for Chaos Legion, it is the most expensive by far. So the market has also deemed it by dollar value as one of the best cards in this class, right? In terms of, like, it's more expensive than some of the rare cards, right? Like, you can see some of these rare cards are in the single-digit pennies. Let's see, is it more expensive than some of the epics? Not quite, but not very far off either. So Deep Lurker is the first one that I would look at. The second one is the legendary card Mordius. Now, I haven't used this card as much, so I can't really speak to the playability of it, but when looking at the higher levels, right, it has an interesting set of rules. And again, the primary thing here is opportunity. It is 1 more mana, but it does also way more damage at 7. The speed is somewhat similar, although this one does not have True Strike. It does have Stun and Pierce, though, which I think go really well when you complement it with something like Yasik, for example. Again, the piercing is kind of redundant with Yasik, but the stun and then the additional speed are fantastic complements. You can also play it with something like Kitty or anything else that'll give you an additional speed. So when we look at the pricing for this card, now there's nobody selling at the highest level, so we'll just say 8.48 times 11 BCX is going to get you about $93. So again, those are the 2 best proxies that I have in modern format. If I'm missing one, or if there's another one that you guys want me to take a look at, definitely let me know. But I think this is good enough as like a, if you're going to use this card in a certain meta, then these are cards that you could kind of base it on. These are the cards that it would be replacing in certain contexts. Now, you have to give it to Runi that the card is neutral. So there are many more instances in which it can be used. And so that should give it a little bit of a bump. And let's just say, again, we saw anywhere from 83 to $100 for Deep Lurker. You're seeing about $93 for Mortius. I mean, what's the premium? What's the premium on something like Runi? How much better is it, right? Is it 2 times better than these cards? I don't think so. Is it 50% better than these cards? I would struggle with that as well. So why don't we just, again, I'm pulling these numbers out of my butt, but now this is where I want to get your feedback. How much better of a card is Runi than Mortius or Deep Lurker, right? How do you price it in that way? I personally think that the abilities like Rebirth and all that, they're good. They're not great. They're good. And I would give it, we'll just say, and I feel like I'm being generous here, but like a 25% premium over these other 2 cards. And I'm gonna put the higher end of where these cards are. So if we just, again, I'm using easy numbers here. So $100, a 25% premium is gonna get us to $125, right? Okay, so $125 is where I would see this card potentially going. Again, you can divide that by, if you divide that by 11, that's like $11.03 per BCX. If we're going to compare that to some of the other Riftwatcher legendaries out here, I feel like that falls kind of in line. Like, I feel like I would place it better than Ra. Runemancer Flore, I don't know, definitely not better than these top 3, right? Runemancer, Kai, Aggro, Longtail, and Coral Lurker. If we want to look at a couple more proxies here for monsters, $11 might be at the top of Chaos Agent, but Chaos Agent is difficult because it's been out for so long. It's very diluted. There's not enough, the argument that there's too many packs or too many cards available could be driving the prices down. But still, where would you put Runi? Because if I'm looking at it compared to all of these Chaos Legion legendary cards, it's near the top. And if you think that it's better than something like Adelaide Brightwing or Chaos Dragon or Carnage Titan, or I'm sorry, vice versa, if you think these cards are better than Runi, then should it be priced lower than that per BCX? Because that would bring it down from the 125. So again, this is all just a thought experiment, right? So when we look at 125, and I don't know where the current price of Ethereum is at. I think it's about 1,600. So 125 divided by, we'll just say 1,600. That brings us to a floor price of roughly 0.07 ETH. 125, I'm just curious, divided by 1,500 if we drop, for example, so 0.08. So let's just say that that's kind of where I see the floor price of this dropping to in the maybe short to medium term. Again, I'm not trying to make price predictions in terms of, I know I just made one, but all I'm saying is that from a utility standpoint, that is the value that it has as of right now. We have been told that there's going to be some other things added in. Runi's going to be your access pass to certain things, and it might, you might have access to certain other projects or NFTs that they do in the future, whatever the case is. And until that comes, though, what is the utility and what are people willing to pay for it? Because that, to me, is where things stand. Now, will we actually get down to 0.07, 0.08 ETH? Probably not. I think there's enough people in the game who are really, really passionate about both Splinterlands as well as NFTs on OpenSea that they probably wouldn't let it get that low. But I'm just trying to give you some food for thought here on how to potentially price this for the people that don't care about all of the extra stuff and all the promises that are coming down the road, right? Like that stuff is going to come with land, as Darkest Night always jokes about, right? We'll get it when land comes. But, for what people can get right now, so all the people who missed out on the mint, everybody who's looking at this and saying, 0.38 was a little much for me, even 0.19 was a little much for me, or I didn't have the vouchers for it. But maybe I'd get in if it dropped to like 0.1 ETH or below, right? Because it seems like a pretty good card and, the meta there. And again, this is just some early thoughts from me on where it could go based on how the utility stands against other cards in a similar genre. So that's kind of where it's at for me. 0.7, 0.07, 0.08, 0.1 maybe, if people value the future things a little bit more. But that's kind of where, again, I'm seeing the value currently is at. Now, again, value is subjective. Something that's worth $5 to me, right? Something that has like sentimental value to me could be worth nothing to you, or vice versa. So we'll see how this plays out. But I'm talking strictly from a utility perspective and a current utility perspective. That's what I'm seeing. Now, I am curious, though, to get your thoughts on this analysis, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, where you see the actual value currently or in the future being. And again, I'm not talking about any price pumps within the broader NFT market or crypto doing a rebound. I'm talking about, let's say the next 6 months are flat again, right? Flat, and we as a global macro economy are still figuring out this whole inflation thing for over the next 6 months. That's kind of the time frame that I'm talking about. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.